the proposal is before the panel, and it's proposed before the panel, I hope reflects what came out of the discussion or the question and answer session. Sorry, the question and answer session. It's really to, and what we as members need to bear in mind is that, as was mentioned at the 11th hour, FCC put forward a proposal that clearly needs to be looked at carefully, not only by the officers but also by the executive. So I think it would be wrong or incorrect to make reference to that document, because clearly it is the subject of further examination and no doubt discussion with FCC. And it may well be that that comes up for discussion at the meeting, this extraordinary meeting of the council next week. So it's on the screen. I hope that it does not create too much of a how can I put it, a difference between members of the panel. So I think it's there for you all to read, and as chair of the panel, I'd like to propose that, and I need a seconder.
Yeah, I'll second it, Chairman.
So I needn't say any more. I will open the debate. I would remind members of the panel that by making your contribution, you can only speak once, and it is at my discretion as to whether non-members of the panel make a contribution. Councillor Pearce, you have your hand up.
I do. It's not within my remit to propose an amendment, but I'm asking you if you could change constituents. We don't have constituencies to residents, please.
I'm happy to do that. Yes. Right. It's been proposed. It's been seconded. I open it up for debate, and first I would ask members of the panel to speak to the proposal. So, Councillor Spencer.
Sorry, I mean, obviously having only just seen it, it's difficult to make a lot of comments. I'd like the word request to be stronger in 3, although I'm not sure how much stronger it can be. But apart from that, I'm perfectly all right with it.
Thank you. Councillor Callaghan.
My initial thought is that what does that mean, the marked and sustained improvement? It's open to interpretation. I suggest it should be pinned down a bit more as to what it actually means in terms of time frame. In other words, what should be done between now and then?
Do you want to speak?
So, just in response to that question, I think we are trying to achieve a balance here, Councillor O'Callaghan. Clearly, we've had no opportunity to look in any detail at the plan. The proposition is to include the words sustained improvement. I'm sure that what will then follow is that officers will, having reviewed the plan and council having made a decision on that, as part of that process, we can determine the rate of improvement which would meet the sustained improvement test. So could I ask that you leave that open and for officers to come back with a proposition which members can, of course, debate and determine if that's acceptable. I think it's very difficult to arrive at an absolutely clear definition at this point.
Can I just add to that, what is the key to this is the fact that FCC will be coming before the panel on the 22nd of July. I think they realise the strength of feeling, and they will undoubtedly be needing to perform against their revised proposal, or their proposal that's currently before officers and the executive. I think the measure of their performance will be against their proposal that hopefully will be agreed. And quite obviously that will need to have the support of all members, and I'm working on the basis that it will come before full council at its meeting next week. Yeah. Councillor Mackay.
Yeah, I understand everything that you just said there, but can we not include something that says something along the lines that at the very least the backlog will have been cleared by that date?
Would you like to propose an amendment to the proposal on the screen?
Will be a marked and sustained improvement in the performance of the waste collection and recycling contract, and at the very least the backlog will have been cleared between today and the panel's meeting on the 22nd. But feel free to edit that.
Can that be added to this? It's done. Okay, I haven't got eyes in the back of my head, unfortunately. Right, do you have a seconder for that? Yes, Councillor Thomas. Do you want to speak in support of that proposed amendment?
Well, no. I mean, I think it speaks for itself.
No, self-explanatory, Chairman. Thank you.
Sorry, this is on the amendment, isn't it? Yeah, okay. I can't see the point of putting that in because it's got no teeth. So if it doesn't happen, so what? So I'd rather leave it out.
I was just saying that looking at it, it is more specific, but I think the time frame's too long. I mean, we're now June the 11th or something, and it's 22nd of July. To clear a backlog, it shouldn't take more than, somebody said earlier, it shouldn't take more than a couple of weeks, you wouldn't have thought, at most. So I think that's too long to clear a backlog. Far too long. The backlog should be cleared within, I would say, 2 weeks, at most. I thought the date had been given of clearing a backlog in June earlier, so I would expect that to happen. And I would expect assisted collections to be sorted out within weeks as well, not within a few weeks, not several weeks. Assisted collections, I think, are quite urgent.
Councillor Austin.
Yeah, I'd just like to point out that I think it's no different from what the executive have been saying all along. If this is the outcome of this meeting, then we've achieved absolutely nothing.
Okay, right, Councillor Guy, it's been posed that that date be put to the end of June as opposed to the 22nd of July. Are you prepared to accept that as a...
Yes, clearly. I mean, the sooner it's cleared, the better. So, absolutely. Yeah.
Councillor Thomas, are you prepared to accept that? Right. So it's now the end of June. Right. All those in favour then? This is the amendment. This is the amendment. Yes. Can you just read it out again, Councillor Guy, as to what the amendment is? That's on the screen. Yes.
No, I need to put in a date for the backlog.
So it needs... Chairman, if I may, it needs to be, so the backlog will have been cleared by the end of June, needs to be taken out and put in a colon after the 22nd of July 2021.
No, no.
By the end of June. Where's it gone?
I think we should say 2 weeks from today.
Tomorrow.
That's what's going on the screen now, rather than keep changing it.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
How's that?
Okay.
How's that, Councillor
So you're
Thomas
happy
or
with the wording?
Mackay? Thank you.
That's fine, that's fine.
Okay. So all those in favour of the amendment?
Eight. That's 8, 4 and 1. Oh, 8, 4.
Those against?
1 against.
Thank you, that amendment is carried. So we'll return to the proposal that's on the screen. Does anybody wish to, Councillor Hodgson?
Thank you, Chair. I was actually going to propose an additional point that would be a little bit along the lines of what the amendment has been, but actually to add in and reflect on the fact that we've got a meeting next week and actually say that we would like an update at next week's meeting, full council meeting, on how the backlog, something along the lines of the backlog, how they've addressed the backlog, because I don't think 3 more weeks for my people who've got 8 weeks worth of food waste is good enough. So I think some of the ones I would say that next week at full council we will be provided with an update on the uncollected waste that's has not been collected for over 6 weeks or for over 4 weeks. I think we need to tie next week's meeting in. That's what I'm trying to do.
You'll need to find a member of the panel to propose that and second that.
If I could help, Chairman, I take the point that Councillor Hodgson's raised. We will, of course, provide the most up-to-date data into the council meeting next week in any case. So whether there's a need to formalise that in the form of the words, I'll leave for you to decide. But we as officers, with the advice from FCC in terms of the current position, will report that to the meeting next week. So hopefully that satisfies your...
Well, if I may, I think the issue is that residents will be looking at this. I want to be able to take this back to the residents who I've got a nice big shopping list of and say, this is what came out of today's meeting. And I think knowing that next week we will be looking at how much of the backlog has been cleared, particularly the long-standing ones, is a very important thing to have actually in this resolution.
A member of the panel to put that forward as a proposal, Councillor Jackson. Can you repeat the wording that Councillor Jackson's going to propose?
Do you want me to, or have you got it? I think she's got...
Sorry, could I just clarify, is this going on to the end of point 2, or did you want to put that into a separate point? Okay.
You point 5.
So, have we got the wording? Councillor Jackson, do you want to...
I'll just copy what Jackie said. Can she repeat it, please?
Chairman, can I just clarify this? Bearing in mind that the full council next week is to specifically discuss the waste proposal, it's self-evident that we're going to be updated by FCC. So I just don't see the point of sticking in what you want to stick in.
Well, I just made the point. It's really that this is what residents will see, and they need to find us a reassurance. I think today, so many of them are so upset that if they read that, they'll think, well, where's the? We've got to wait another 6 weeks because there's no mention of next week's meeting in there. Whereas I think if we make this a really clear resolution that we could perhaps even get into the paper for next week, I think people will feel that we're making steps and we're making agreements that we will actually sort of be, when we will be looking and having expectations of targets being met. Okay. Okay, the council note. Shanice is doing it for me, unless she's reading my mind.
I am.
She's will include an update on the backlog of collection of uncollected waste that has been not collected for 4 weeks or more. On the backlog of uncollected waste, yeah. Sorry, backlog of uncollected waste. Yeah, sorry, okay. And would expect that any waste that has not been collected for more than 4 weeks will have been collected by then. Not collected.
Chairman, can I just make a point? I've made this point in the past, that recommendations should not come before a committee other than from members of the committee. I've made this point before about this committee. You do nothing about it. You allow any member of the council to make recommendations to this committee. You've just done it, Chairman. I've made this point before.
Yeah, I'm happy with that proposal. Thanks.
Right. Anybody would like to speak to this amendment? No? In that case, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour of the amendment?
Does that mean the backlog bit is gone then? I can't see it now. Is that gone? Is it?
Sorry, not 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5. 5, 4.
Okay, those against?
And 3 against.
Okay. Thank you. Right. Can I suggest that we move to the vote on the proposal that's on the screen, please?
Chairman, before we do that, if I may, we appear to have lost after the colon on 2. I'm not convinced that Councillor Jackson's item 5 was supposed to replace the previous amendment, but I think it was supposed to supplement it. So I think perhaps we need to replace that at the end of 2.
What was the wording?
At the very least.
Thank you.
At the very least. The backlog will be.
The 25th of June. Is that 2 weeks' time?
By the end of June. Clear? Does it pass the Thomas test?
Cleared.
It's accurate now, Chairman, thank you.
Cleared.
Okay. Right,
Sorry,
we'll move to the
Councillor
vote.
Thomas.
All those- sorry.
I'm so sorry, Councillor Thomas, can I just clarify? I'm being told that it should have been cleared rather than collected. Are you happy with that?
I'm content with it as it is.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Right, all those in favour of the proposal that's on the screen in full?
That's 8. 4.
All those against?
And 1 against, Chair.
Okay, so that is carried. So, thank you very much indeed, and thank you for your patience and thank you for your contribution. Thank you, Chairman.